Good morning, wherever you are.
Very, very good afternoon, and I think Indonesia it must be good evening.
It is. And thanks to Transcontinental Times for giving us the opportunity. Normally, normally I interview people who are 20-year-olds, wear a badge of honor saying dropped out of college and set up some
Yes.
startup with an idea and don't know what to do or have made become successful and we're trying to figure out how they got there. Today I'm honored to be joined by somebody who removes all these cliches, stays away from it, and is a role model for society. A true rags to riches story, a true story based on hard work, traditional values, education, and not from one of your fancy states of India. He's from Bihar, which I'm proud to say because I'm from there too. I was born there, though I've lived all my life in Bangalore. So, with great pleasure, I welcome Mr. Sudip Kumar. Welcome, sir. I hope to have an
Thank you
engaging
very much,
chat today.
Nalin. Thank you very much
So,
for your kind words.
so, a lot of things are written about you. Now, people can Google you, come to know a lot of things that are publicly known. But it will be great if you can just guide us. How did you start out? You are not from a business family. You are from a family where your parents were working in a government job. What made you get into business? Because in Bihar, I know we are almost a similar age. Telling my father that I wanted to do business in the early 80s, I would have got a slap in my face. How did you do it? How did you start?
Sir, I'm the fourth generation engineer in my family. My grandfather was an engineer who built Lagat Singh College in Muzaffarpur and other buildings over there. My grandfather was the first from NIT Patna, and he was the gold medalist at that time. My father was also a civil engineer. All the three were civil engineer. I was also a civil engineer. When I was in class 9th, 10th, I got this in my thinking that I'm unable to serve under anyone. I understood myself a little bit at that particular age. I was around 15, 16, 17 age. And I found that I was not very much able to adapt to if someone orders me to do something. And if I found that this or that order was not exactly true because there can be multiple ways of doing things and I may be having a different way of approach of doing the thing and the elder person who was ordering me may have a different way of ordering things. So once that sink into me that I am not a yes man kind of a person, I have my own views and everything was that, then I thought what to do. And in that particular scenario, there was only two things at that particular age bracket and the time period during the early 80s, that any respectable student who was good at studies should either do engineering or should do medical. So engineering means job. So I was one of the top merit rankers in the Bihar entrance examination, but I decided for civil that started very low because I wanted to start my consultancy, and there was one opportunity in all the engineering fields where I could do my own entrepreneurship, and that was a consultancy job. So I chose the science college that I have to study from science college. I decided before matriculation that I want to do civil engineering and I do want to start my own consultancy. So during my journey, during my engineering days, 4 years college, 70-80% of the course materials I studied regarding just to get the marks, and 20% course material which was related to building designs, I studied those for knowledge. That was in-depth research kind of thing. I used to solve those, practice those because I knew that this is the thing that I'm going to do entire my life. So this is how I got into
So,
profession, and after profession, it was a business.
so when you the first say went up to your parents and said you're going to start a business, what was the
Yes,
reaction?
they were okay with that because in when I was in class seventh, I the entire from my lower KG's days to class 7th, I was studying from the English medium schools in all the good missionaries across the state of unified Bihar. In class 7th, I realized that my father will be transferred again within a year or two. And and normally the track record was once he was posted in Patna and other side in the remote areas of the Bihar, unified Bihar. So that was the journey I was taking. So I thought that when I will be in class 9, 10, and my father will be transferred to a remote location where won't will be a good English school, and there will be a Hindi medium school that I have to study. So why not change the medium right now? And in class 7, that was my independent decision. My father was okay with that. That I changed the from English medium to a Hindi medium class. So
Okay.
my father were okay with, and whatever I have been taking independent decisions, I think my parents have a big hand in that, because when I was in 11-year-old, my father was posted at Jamshedpur. My elder sister was married at and she was my brother-in-law was at Kolkata. My father put when I was just 11 years old. My father put me alone in the train, 11-year-old child. The lady and the person sitting beside me, we're told that he is alone. He is 11-year child. He is need to go to Calcutta. He is going to Calcutta. Please take care of him. That's it. And I did my journey, entire journey as an 11-year kid from Patna, from Jamshedpur to Kolkata alone. So the independence, the taking the responsibilities, caring for my own self came from because my father and my parents.
So when
So my
you,
parents were happy.
it's interesting how our lives, even though we don't know each other, how our lives have intertwined. You mentioned Langat Singh College. My father studied there. You
Oh,
mentioned
great.
Jamshedpur. I studied there, virtually in the same
Which
year that
school?
you're talking about.
Which school,
And
Nalin?
I was in Loyola High School
Say,
that time.
I was also there, same Loyola High School. I was in Loyola 1974 to 77.
I think we'll catch up some other time. We're probably
Sure,
classmates if it comes to that.
sure,
But
sure.
when you started business, now starting a
Yes,
business in Bihar in the 80s is not easy. Okay, we are
yes,
talking of a different time completely
yes,
to the socially acceptable norms today.
yes.
What at what point did you think you have got started? Did what was it a big project or was it something? What did it? What where did when did you think that okay, I'm established? I think I've started.
Uh, I took 15,000 loan from my father,
Okay,
and my partner, he's an architect. He also took a 15,000. He also arranged 15,000 rupees.
okay,
We put together 30,000 rupees. We took an office at rent. We bought the furnitures and we started the office. Two things at the very first day onset, we decided that two things will never fail. First, the rent of the premises should go every time without fail, whatever happens. And the people we employ, they should be given salary whether we have to feed our family or not. These two things have to be done. There cannot be any compromise. Starting for any professional field, we were consultants, architectural consultants, initial years. Any consultancy is very, very tough because you say in Hindi, उगते सूरज को सब सलाम करते हैं. So we were not even that time not Ukta Suraj. We are just starting our careers. By God's grace, we started getting people who showed our they showed their confidence, our inexperience, and they trusted us with their homes to build. We tried our best and we did our best. And we gave beautiful results with all our dedications and will. And slowly we started rolling, and we got some breaks, lucky breaks also you can say, because when you are a startup or a small unit firm, normally big things do not come to your way. So here in the consultancy at that time, the apartment culture had just come to Patna, but we were not getting any apartment design kind of thing that would have catapulted us to a big scale. What happened? One of our acquaintances, he has bought a unit, apartment unit, in one of the good big apartment premises being built over there. He came with the plan to us to make some, or if we could give some suggestions or do some interior suggestions. And what we did, we made some alterations and suggested changes. You shift this to this, you do the. We made a design of revised drawings for his apartment unit. And he went to the developer and said, see, I've got this done and I want this changes in my apartment unit. The developer was so impressed, he changed the entire, all the units, he changed the layout plans. And then he contacted us that I want you as our consultant, and from next projects you will be our consultant. That was a very, very lucky break, I would say, that God has given us to do this. And then from there onwards, we do not look back.
So, you have built something of considerable scale, and there are a lot of budding entrepreneurs who start out, but they don't know how to scale.
Yes.
Any tips on how do you think people can scale a business? I mean, starting off well is one thing, but how do you scale
Yes.
it and build an institution?
Uh, First, for scaling, you have to be very, very determined about what you are doing. You should be passionate and you should believe in your dreams first. You should always visualize that you are going to the moon, and if you are always visualizing you are going to the moon, you will achieve that. If you do not dream and if you're not passionate, it is not going to happen. I have heard a story of a gentleman who wanted that. I'm telling the story of around 1995. He wanted he was from Bhagalpur. He was a small silk handloom manufacturer,
Mhm.
and he somehow he heard of Mark and Spencer and Harrods at UK London, and he thought, if I am successful, then I will supply my goods to them. He wrote it down, kept it in his pocket, and he read it every day, and he supplied. So first you have to believe in yourself, I can do this, and everything else falls in place.
That's interesting. I also noticed that you have this voracious appetite for education, knowledge. Not very
Yes,
something very
yes,
popular with the young today. Not only have you completed your civil engineering, but I see that you have gone to various IIMs trying to do various courses and stay up to speed. What exactly is driving that? I mean, why do you do that? Because at this stage, I'm sure you have people to take care of stuff. So, what's
yes.
this relentless pursuit of knowledge?
Actually, uh, when I came from after graduation, from my BIT Sindri, I came back to Patna. Next day, my father took his batchmate. He was a professor at NIT Patna, Professor Tarafdar, NK Tarafdar. He was a very, very good senior structural engineer. For 1 year, there was at that time in 1990s, there were no computers. What we did, all the drafting was done on the drafting board on with a T square standing for the whole day. So for 1 or 2 months, every day at 8:30 in the morning, because from 9 he has classes, so I reached the 8:30. He gave me at that time the complete work to do the entire day. Then he came at 4:30 in the evening to his house, there where his studio was set up, and I was drafting every day. I was very, very annoyed with myself, with professor, with life, with everyone. Ki what he is doing? I am an engineer over here. I've done my graduation, and I've come here to learn structural designing and structural engineering. And what I'm doing a draftsman work. What is this? After a lot of time, I had the courage, and I asked professor, why you are making me do this? So he said, son, look, ultimately whatever you are designing, your draftsman will be delivering it. So if you do not know the drafting yourself, you will be depending upon your draftsman. So whatever work you do in your life, any people you employ, you should know better than to do that work individually than other people. So from that day, I got the thing that whatever I want to do, I should be the most knowledgeable person in the room. So I have been on a knowledgeable journey throughout my life after that.
Interesting. So, Mr. Sudip, let's move to another aspect of what you do. I was looking at some of your recent projects and the large project Aqua City, and I was looking at all that you're doing in the senior living space.
Yes.
Now, that's not exactly a, I know it will be a big space in India over a period of time. There's a lot of activity in this in South, in
Yes.
Coimbatore and areas like that. I have clients who have built
Yes.
thousands and thousands of senior living spaces. But
Yes.
Bihar and senior living, what's driving that?
Uh, my grandparents were in Muzaffarpur. My grandfather retired. My father were four brothers. Three were engineers, all in different senior organizations. One was a civil surgeon in Bihar. I was all my holidays, summer holidays, long summer holidays, was spent with my grandparents, and my grandfather is my biggest idol still right now. And whenever I want and why I am perplexed, I just recall him. So when my grandfather died, my grandmother said, "I will not leave this place. He's here, even if he's not here. So I will stay here." So my parents said, and my uncles and aunt said, okay. They provided. There was a servant who have Dadi has bought up from very very kid. Like he was of our age, almost our age, or just 2 3 years younger. Like us, we used to fight our grandmother that you like Prem more than us, and somehow that Prem got into good, bad influence, and he did not kill my grandmother, but he emptied the entire house. My grandmother was in a shock because he said that if Prem would have asked me, I would have handed over everything to him, because there was no need of doing this kind of. He was like a son to me. He was like an own grandson to me. Why he should do this? And since I was close to my grandmother and my grandfather, I decided. I was studying in BIT Sindri at that particular period of time. I decided that I will be staying with my parents. I will not do this. I will not go into a job where I have to leave my parents, and I will be with my parents. So, and as my parents started growing aged and my children got into teenage, I could see the old age senior living at a very, very close quarters. And I understood that I have lived with my parents, but most probably my kids may not be living with me in my senior years. And when I discussed about this with my friends, all have similar things. And I found that since we are rooted in Bihar, and we would like to have the retirement at Bihar, and the Bihar was lacking, entirely lacking in the senior citizen. And so then I decided that I should take things in my own home and design for myself a kind of thing that is sustainable and take care of all the old age issues. So that was the basic background behind this.
I'm just curious, what has the response been like? I mean, has the public and the consumer responded well to it? The senior living space?
Actually, this is not actually a senior living space. Initially, we wanted to build just a senior living home with around
Okay.
100 to 120, 2500, 150 odd senior living homes.
Okay.
So since I try to do things the best way possible. I study a lot. I delve into deep everything. So when I delved in depth and visited a senior living home also, uh, and did a research on all the homes in USA, UK, in Coimbatore, in India, in Indore, Bangalore, everywhere. What I found, there were two things lacking. There was one thing that in the senior citizen home, all people were senior citizens. First, same age bracket, around 60 plus people were living, and there were no younger generation. And most of the senior homes have a regulation that if your son or daughter or grandkids came, they can stay with you for a particular number of days only in your senior living home. So when we discussed upon this, and it came upon our mind that we do not like to spend our senior living like this amongst only the old and senior living people. What we wanted to live in a memory of our children, of our, with our grandchildren. So we decided why not to build a community where all age bracket people living together. So if our son is away and he is coming for 7 days, 10 days, 15 days in a year, so if I could develop a bond with a young couple in our block or in our community, and we could see our children in them, and the smaller people, children playing in the ground, we can develop a bond with them, and they could fulfill our need of the grandchildren. So this was the whole idea behind this.
It's multi-generational co-living space.
Yes, yes.
And
And
do you,
one more
go ahead.
thing I would find lacking as an architectural consultant, as a developer. All the projects that have been developed in India right now is static in nature. They don't change with passage of time. Normally, say a young corporate guy who is in his early 30s, late 20s, early 30s, he buys a home. So the requirement of a home or the community, from the community he is living in, from the society he is living in, is different. Again, when he turns around 40, 45 years, he is settled into his profession or his job or his business. And the children are teenagers, the requirement from the home is different and from the society is different. When you turn 40, 55, 60 years, the requirement from the same home is different. When you turn 75 years of age, the requirement from the same home is different. But you don't change home as you age. So why not to build a society, a dynamic society where all the 5, 6 age bracket things coexist. So if you buy a unit at a early age, and if you living there at age of 80, 85, all your requirements with the changing age is getting fulfilled at the same
Oh,
society.
that's
That
fantastic.
was the dynamic concept.
That's fantastic. So you are relatively young now, and
Yes.
what next? What do you foresee for the company, for yourself, over the next 5 to 10 years? What do you want to do?
Uh, I would like to give back to society. I would like
Okay.
to go to spirituality. Company will take its own course. This is from my journey. Uh, After Aquacity, I will be whatever I will be doing. In fact, me and my wife have taken a pledge that 90% of all our earnings in this life, we will try to expend for the others in this life itself. We have shared this philosophy with our children also. They are also comfortable with this. We have told them, kids, we are not going to leave you much behind. We are trying to spend each and everything for the people from whom we have got this.
Yeah.
So my future life will be spent in this.
Fantastic. You know, a lot of publicity is given to Western business people who pledge to put half their wealth aside for giving back to society. And here we have you who's pledging 90%. It's absolutely fantastic. Just curious, you know, everybody knows Sudip Kumar, the business person. Everybody
Yes.
knows Sudip Kumar from what we have read on the internet. What is the
Yes.
real person like? I mean, any hobbies, any likes, dislikes, anything you're passionate about other than construction?
Traveling
Okay.
right now, reading books, which I'm not able to do at this particular point of time in this my journey of a working person. But definitely after retirement, I am going to be a voracious reader. Initially, I was intending to write books also, but recently, with my journey to spiritualism has started, and I don't think I need to write for others. I may be writing for myself. That would be okay, but not for others. I may not be writing. And right now, basically, I have been I have a lot of paradoxes. I was an introvert as well as an extrovert. While I was in a group, if I am alone, I am okay. If I'm alone, I am okay. So I did not had any issues with those kind of things. But my journey to spirituality has started, and recently I've done a program at IIM Bangalore, East Meets West. That is a fantastic program. Professor Gopal Mahapatra and other professors were there, and that was the teachings of Gita and how to use the teachings of Gita in your corporate journey and corporate world. So those 3 days awakened me something. Something was awakened in those 3 days, and I started thinking more about who am I, what am I, what is the purpose of life, why am I here, what will be my contribution. So this is real me, and I'm still trying to find who is the real me. I'm in the journey of finding myself.
That's a very, very candid response. Which leads me to the question about how do you stay grounded? Because uh, Bihar doesn't have that many business leaders now. You're one of the top ones, and obviously there must be people around you putting things into your head. You must so occasionally the head must be going into the stratosphere. Mind may be running faster than reality. How do you stay grounded?
Uh, First, it is the something I will say the God has gifted me from my something that I have with me, and with that there are three things. First is honesty and truth. I am a follower. I have been a lot of influence in my life. There are two people who have influenced me.
Mhm.
One is my grandfather, that as I earlier said, and the second is Mahatma Gandhi. I've read a lot in my childhood days, and it was a real terrific influence. I can say that I am a living embodiment of the principles of Gandhiism. I don't tell lies. Just I don't. Yeah, like recently during the lockdown, I was visiting jungle for this jungle safaris and all.
Mhm.
And there was election going on in UP, and there was a restriction that you cannot travel 50,000 more than rupees 50,000 with you. And
Okay.
I was stopped at a checkpoint. The police officer asked me, "Do you have rupees 50, more than rupees 50,000?" I thought for a microsecond, and I replied, "Yes, I am carrying more than rupees 50." Could not lie. I knew that if I am telling that I am carrying more than rupees 50,000, he can just stop me. He can search all my bag and baggage. My family will be in trouble. He will seize my cash. I everything knew that, but I was carrying cash because I may have to pay because of the internet. There may be some problems, and the cards may not be working. So I need cash at the back because I was driving through a car. But I just cannot lie. So I think the teachings and principles of Gandhi that I have been following since my all my life, that may be helping me to be grounded.
So, last question for
Yes,
all the young people out there.
yes.
You are a phenomenal role model, right? Right, from your background, the way you've set yourself up, your belief system, the way you've succeeded. So, as advice to the youth, what would you advise them when they pursue entrepreneurship? What are the two or three things that they should hold close to them if they want to succeed?
First, deliver more than you promise.
Okay.
Uh, Never cheat your customers or fall back on your words. If you are given the word, stand by it. Just stand by it. Slowly the message will go, you are a man of your words, and words are more valuable, and your commitments are more valuable, and your thoughts are more valuable than any kind of money that this world can bring. If a person who you're dealing with has faith on you, he will stand by you thick or thin, and you will be successful. Third, give your best in whatever you do. Suppose if you are getting a good return from a client, and you lesser return from the other client or customer, deliver equal service to them, because it is you who have decided I will take a better return from this, and I will give my services or my product with a lesser profit margins. Then don't compromise on the deliveries. This will help you because this will, the word publicity, customer satisfaction, there's nothing like word publicity and customer satisfaction.
Fantastic. I always say that in life you will be shaped by not who advises you, because everybody gets advice of all kinds, but who will you listen to? Who you listen to is more important than who's advising you. And you are an embodiment of that. You've, as role models, your grandfather, Mahatma Gandhi, and the streak of integrity in everything you do. It has been a fantastic time chatting with you. I wish you the very best, and I hope
Thank
to
you.
see you very soon in person in the future. Thank you, Mr. Sudip.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nalin. Thank you. It will be my pleasure hosting you. And whenever you come to Patna, do let me know and we will have a great time catching up together. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Pleasure.
Bye.